Welcome to Hardcover Feedback. I'm Jennifer Billingsley.
And I'm Chris Rettig.
And today we will be reviewing The Sleeper and the Spindle, written by Neil Gaiman with illustrations by Chris Rettig.
A young and beautiful queen must rescue her kingdom from an enchanted sleeping plague in this short and creepy fairy tale. Delicate line work and gold-accented illustrations add to the subtly gothic aesthetic of this grown-up picture book. Nearly Snow White and not quite Sleeping Beauty, the work blends the dark themes of an unedited Brothers Grimm with our Disney-fueled expectations of what happily ever after really means.
The queen woke early that morning. "A week from today," she said aloud, "a week from today, I shall be married." It seemed both unlikely and extremely final. She wondered how she would feel to be a married woman. It would be the end of her life, she decided, if life was a time of choices. In a week from now, she would have no choices. She would reign over her people. She would have children. Perhaps she would die in childbirth. Perhaps she would die as an old woman or in battle. But the path to her death, heartbeat by heartbeat, would be inevitable. She could hear the carpenters in the meadows beneath the castle, building the seats that would allow her people to watch her marry. Each hammer blow sounded like a heartbeat.
That begins a very short tale, which is, as we said, sort of a mixture of Snow White, who is the queen that we just met, and who is just about to hear about a sleeping plague that is creeping ever closer to her village or town. So she suits up and joins her merry band of gnomes. Or
dwarves.
Dwarves, sorry.
Dwarves are good.
Pardon me, gnomes.
That's fine.
And it goes off to find out what is happening and what it's all about.
She goes off to investigate, and she's a queen, so she's coming from a place of power. Her fairy tale has already concluded itself, and so she's moved into this other chapter of her life that we don't know about, almost. So,
but she still has to marry, because of course a queen must marry.
Because you gotta have babies and make people still be ruled by you. So she moves into this, and it becomes this, and after it gets to that point, it becomes more of a standard fairy tale where there's a quest and there's little hills that need to be gotten over and little challenges before you get to the princess who is in a castle. And it has a twist to it, and there's definitely moments of supreme creepiness.
Yes.
Like the sleeper, so it's a sleeping plague that is creeping over the other kingdom, and they talk. It feels very, and Neil Gaiman has written Doctor Who episodes, and it definitely feels like a creepy episode of Doctor Who sometimes. You're like,
yes.
No, nope, not, nope, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
But the length was really problematic, because it's a fairy tale picture book length in that there's a lot of text, and then these, I thought they were beautiful, like illuminated letters and illustrations and panels, but there wasn't enough. I wanted stardust.
It's a very, very slight story. And I thought, I don't read a lot of graphic novels, so I thought the illustrations were supposed to add to the story. I don't find them beautiful. So there's that, but that's a matter of taste.
There were too many skulls.
There were a lot of skulls, unexplained skulls, but and it didn't advance the story. In fact, it confused the story in certain. There's a character in one of the pictures that is never mentioned in the book.
Yeah.
And, it didn't add anything to me. For me, being such a short story, then the pictures were just confusing and. Yeah, it's got a twist that we're not going to reveal, but I didn't understand what his point was in telling this story. And I love Neil Gaiman under every other circumstance. He's a big supporter of libraries, so we are totally thumbs up for Neil Gaiman, but not necessarily this book.
It felt like an older, like the Blue Fairy book, or like it felt like an older. What would be in a collection of fairy tales, and that I felt like it was missing its family. It didn't have any other stories, and where it ended, it left it very open, which was nice, because and I got that it mirrored the beginning, that that her story didn't end at her being woken up because she's Snow White, and it left it open at the end, but not all of the characters had a great deal of agency.
Right.
So I felt she was definitely the main character, and she was pretty great. she's immune to the sleeping sickness because she was asleep for however long because of the poison apple, which I thought was a cool bit of magic trivia, kind of, and fairy tale trivia. But it's
Which
still...
I should say, if you're not familiar with the Snow White and Sleeping Beauty tales, I was not, this may have less appeal for you. So study up on those first.
It pulls on your knowledge of them. So if
Yes.
you're a fan of fairy tales and if you're a fan of the illustrator, the illustrations I found, they were beautiful, and they're black and white, and the line work is really beautiful, and it's got these gold elements to it that really pop things, but it was like you were reading things into them that weren't necessarily in the text. And I also read or listened to the audiobook, which is actually a full cast audiobook production, which was, I think I liked that almost better, and I really did love the illustrations. I liked that better than I liked just the book, because the full cast was so good.
Also highlighted the humor more, which I did appreciate in this book. It has just these little touches of humor that are gorgeous.
But there's like ridiculous, like there's still very much people
Yes.
stuck in a fairy tale as
Yes.
opposed to like perfect and in a fairy tale, so.
But overall, I'm afraid I have to give it 1 star, just because I did not see the point in actually producing this book.
And I'm gonna say that I would give it 3 stars, and I would actually give the audiobook 4 stars. And Neil Gaiman always gets 4 stars as a person,
Yes.
so it's fine. This has been Hardcover Feedback. Today we read and reviewed from The Sleeper and the Spindle by Neil Gaiman and Chris Rettig. And remember, you can pick up this book or any of the others we talk about at your local public library.